Hello everybody, Hellcrex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 369. And today we're looking at the Hell Horse's Athena Combat Vehicle. Comes in at 75 tons. It's a 3-5 moving vehicle with a fusion reactor. So it comes with 10 heat sinks. Alright. It does have 7.5 tons of ferrofibrous armor to protect it, so 144 points, similar to what we just talked about, which was the Ishtar. I believe it was the Ishtar that had 7.5 tons. No, that was 6.5 tons of ferrofibrous. Okay, maybe I'm thinking a different one. Anyway, the Athena, kind of an interesting vehicle. Definitely it's more of a fire support platform like the other ones were that we just talked about. When you think about the Ishtar versus the Athena, it's like you look at that one, it's like the weapons on this thing means you really don't want to get too close with it. You'd rather sit back and just pummel your opponents and punch holes through them. Now, this vehicle would work really good in conjunction with the Ishtar, because the Ishtar, basically, if I had the Ishtar and I put two LBX 10s on it, got rid of the autocannon, the Ultra, replaced it with the LBX cannon, and maybe some more armor, that thing would be kind of nasty in some ways in working with the Athena. Because the Athena, with its weapon systems of 2 ER medium lasers in a turret, 2 machine guns in the turret, with a half ton of ammunition for the machine gun, and that's pretty respectable. Plenty of ammo. It's like if you ever have a machine gun on anything, you don't need more than half ton anyway. It's like if you got half ton left over and any typical build, just throw it into armor. And then we have 2 Gauss rifles on the front slope with 4 tons of ammunition, so 12 turns, 8 or is that 16 turns, something like that, and of firing away with those 2. Then we have an LRM 10. This is where I was seeing the 12 at. Was the 1 ton of ammunition, so 12 turns with that on the front slope. And then we have a targeting computer. Yes, you heard it. A targeting computer wrapped up in this thing. So everything's pretty much direct fire. So yeah, throwing a 3-4 crew in this thing with a targeting computer. Yeah, you're going to be finding targets pretty easily hit, punching holes. And if you're working with conjunction with a bunch of other vehicles that are using crit hunting type systems, yeah, you're going to crit somebody really quick. That's why I like the Athena for being more of a fire support vehicle than a combat vehicle. When you see combat vehicle, that means I got to run right up in their face and fire away. No, this thing screams to me, I want to sit back and just punch holes in people, and then in the middle game, towards the late game, start moving forward, trundling forward at a slow 3-5 moving. Yes, it's not fast. So if you can find yourself any type of haul down, well, actually you can't do the haul down because everything's on the front slope. So it's got to be, you could only use the haul down in the turret. So yeah, so you got to be into woods or something of that nature with this tracked vehicle. What was I thinking? And then as you're punching holes and your buddies with the crit hunting weapon systems are just like scatter shot and everything into them. And then as the middle game rolls up and you got targets that got holes punched everywhere, and your mechs are out front running around trying to help out punching holes, getting in behind them, screwing them into circles, and then these guys are just bam, bam, bam. But the only problem is the cost. This comes in at 1,850 battle value. That's pretty spending when it comes to a vehicle. Yes, you're getting 2 Gauss rifles and an LRM-10. So you're putting holes into stuff. Now, really, the LRM-10 is kind of, sort of, your crit hunting system on this vehicle. As I say, typically with an LRM-10, you're getting hit with 6 on an average. That's what you're going to hit with. So that's going to be a 5 and a 1. So the one is kind of a crit system. It's more of a plinky style. But you got 2 hole punchers with the 15s, bam, bam. And then you follow up with the little things. Now, if you get into range with those ER medium lasers, those are 7s. And they're going to be scraping a little bit more armor off. So that's the whole concept with these. So if you're running like 2 of these along with some Ishtars, yeah, you got 2 of these guys punching holes and the other ones are crit hunting for you. So yeah, that's kind of like how I look at these guys. Now, there's a couple other versions of this one. Now the next one is like, woo-wee, holy doggies. Kind of an interesting one. This one is the Hag version. This comes in at 2,440 battle value. Oh, it comes with a price tag. Yes, indeed. Still has a massive price tag for it comes to throwing this on the table. But, boy, you're talking about something that's going to make even assault mechs go, oh, boy, wow, where did all that damage come from? Oh, just this little tank over here. All right, so the Hag version. This one has an XL fusion reactor. Okay, so you're gaining a few more tons of space to throw on some weapons. Yeah, still has the 2 ER medium lasers. All right, then we have 2 AP Gauss rifles for anti-personnel work in the turret. And then we have, let me bring it up here. You have, what the heck is going on? My phone's lighting up like a Christmas tree. This one has, what is it, 72 on the front slope, and the other one has 38. Yeah, this thing is armored. It's like with the XL fusion reactor, they put armor on this thing. Lots of armor, okay? So you got 72, 48 on the sides, 32 on the rear, and then 40 in the turret. I don't necessarily need a lot in the turret because I played so many games where I very, very seldom have ever had a tank taken out by turret damage. It's always in the front or the sides. That's how it works. It's like the odds of hitting the turret is, you need to roll a 10, 11, or 12. Typically when you're rolling, you don't have a lot of damage. So, yeah, you probably could have gone with a little bit less on the turret, but I can understand when they went 40. Okay, you kind of spread it out nice and neat. Okay, as we go, the equipment on board. You got an ECM suite. Yes, okay, you got an ECM suite. Still a 3.5 moving with an XL fusion engine. We have a targeting computer still. All right, nice, built in. And then we have on the front slope 2 Hag 30s. Yeah. 2 Hag 30s that have 24 shots. So basically 12 per gun. And then you have 40 shots with the AP Gauss. So 20. If you get into range, it's like, yeah, they shoot out to 9, which is a lot better than your typical machine gun. So I can understand why you're swapping over to the AP Gauss rifles. Makes total sense to me. Go that route. Now, the let's see. Now the big thing is the amount of damage this thing can dish out. You got 2 Hag 30. So yeah, the Hag 30 acts more like an LRM 30 when it comes to spreading the damage out. But you're talking up to 60 points of damage. It's not the hard punch 15 in one spot you're going to get with the Gauss rifles. So I can see throwing maybe 1 or 2 of these into your force. And if you got a couple of the regular Athenas and some Ishtars running around the battlefield with LBX cannons pumping holes, you hit even a Daiashi, it's going to know that you are there. You hit anything that's any type of mech with the weapon systems on board in force. If you focus fire on one heavy or assault mech, they will know that you are there, and they'll be like, oh boy, I just lost almost all my armor, or areas are just totally taken out. That's just plain and simple. But it is a bit spendy. It comes in at, what, 11,000 C bills? Yeah, that's pretty expensive. So that is something to think about. Cost. But, wow, the amount of damage you're going to be tossing out with those two hags. And you got a targeting computer. And you can, if you get in range with the 2 ER medium lasers at 15 less. Yeah. This is going to be a beast when it comes to the battlefield. And if they have anything like, what do we call it, Artemis is shut down, if somebody has a targeting C3 scout mech that's running around trying to, the little bubble is going to be, it'll say, hey, here's the bubble, and they see what the bubble is, and they got to stay outside of it. So that helps also. So it's kind of nice having a little bit of extra ECM on the battlefield, cutting off, like Korea, going out there with their C3 networks, or even the WOBs, going that route. So I totally understand why they kind of designed it that way. But man, having a couple Hag 30s just punching into somebody, scraping armor off someone, and if you have a couple Gauss rival versions, they'll punch the holes first, and then these guys scrape a lot of armor off, and then you got your crit hunters following in behind. Yeah, they're going to know it. They're not going to like you. They're going to be focused firing on one of these vehicles. But when you got 72 out the front, the only thing that's going to hurt these guys is if they have motive hits on them. Then you basically turn them into pillboxes, and their arc of fire is drastically reduced, and you're only left with the 2 ER medium lasers in the turret. So that's one of the drawbacks. So it's, you're basically tank destroyer design. So you have to point and shoot what you're going to be looking at. But if you stay back far enough, your arc is fairly wide. That's the important thing with these things. And they shoot out to 24 with those two hags. So it's basically looking at the same thing as if they had a couple ER large lasers for range. There's nothing to sneeze at about that. So you can just move up, smack, tear a bunch of armor off, move up a little bit, tear more armor off. They're not going to be moving to the front very quickly. Typically, if they're not moving, they're going to be maybe moving 3, get that 1 mod, and that's it. And they got the targeting computer to counteract that. And if you have some good gunnery on board these guys, they probably will be hitting targets, especially if they're focusing on slow-moving targets like slow-moving assault mechs, like even if the inner sphere or clans have. It doesn't matter. Target's a target. If you got a good firing solution, everybody focus it, kill it, move on to the next one. And eventually they're going to have those targets that are going to be moving faster, harder to hit, but it's the law of averages that's going to kick in by that point. So you got to look at it that way. Eventually they're going to get wore down. And if you have some good mechs with good pilots, they're going to do their job to doing counter operations against those mechs anyway. So there. All right. Then there is one last one. This is the XR version. Now, this is the interesting one. They don't have a fusion engine on it because they said they're resource starved, so they went with the chemical fuel cell. To get it around, then they have 4 machine guns on board, so low-tech machine guns just for spraying and praying against infantry. Then they have 2 chemical medium lasers, and then 4 chemical large lasers. So, and a targeting computer to go with it. And since these are chemical weapons, they have ammunition to go with said chemical weapons. So there's 2 tons for the medium lasers, 6 tons for the large lasers. It comes in at 1,400 battle value. So it's a lot cheaper than the standard 1850 what you get with the original version, or the 2,440 what you have with the Hag version. So you're 1,000 points. So you could put a few of these on the table if you had to. The only problem is you're looking at ammunition that goes with it. But the damage output isn't as great per se. But they're going to know it when you start sending stuff down range. I'm just curious. Yeah, because I don't have a write-up sheet for the XR version at all. So not exactly sure what the armor value is on that one, so I can't give you that. But if it's anything like the original, yeah, it's going to be fairly within the 144 range, probably. So there, that's it. Personally, I just like, if I could throw a couple of Hag versions into the lineup, yeah, go for it. Just enjoy the damage that you're going to be throwing downrange. But hey, there's nothing to sneeze at about having the original version with the 2 Gauss rifles and the LRM-10. That thing can do some good work on the battlefield. All right, so that is it. That is the Athena. Pretty interesting little vehicle, to say the least. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Elcrax out.